How you doing? Haven't posted for a little while. I've actually had some oral surgery that was done to me. I had my wisdom teeth pulled out. For those of you who have had that happen before, you know how painful that can be. I've been on meds for the last week or so. I wanted to talk about this issue a little bit sooner, but I promised I would put this out as soon as I got the opportunity to talk clearly and distinctively. And my gums have healed a little bit, so now I'm going to put my two cents in and what I think about this whole entire um, situation with Bill Cosby. As of course you all know, um, Bill was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in the state penitentiary behind for sexual assault. It's not rape, by the way, but sexual assault against Gloria Constant. Um, People want to know. A lot of folks want to know what my opinion is about all this. Do I think that Bill Cosby is guilty of this crime? And my response to that would be absolutely not. Not based off of the evidence that I've seen, not based off of the information that's been shared, not based off of the lapse of time that has transpired from the testimony of any of these women. And I'm a person who looks at numbers and looks at facts, not just hearsay, not just what somebody says that you did, but what actually happened versus what what actually happened versus what actually is being exposed to the public. And just from what I saw in that particular case, I do not think that the defense proved within a reasonable doubt that he sexually assaulted anyone. I mean, there was too many inconsistencies with her story. I mean, she changed her story 10 times. She went to the man's comedy show, introduced her to her parents after the alleged incident happened. Not to mention that she called him over 50 times. There were witnesses who said that she actually wanted to try to extort money from Bill Cosby. I mean, there's just so much evidence that just proves that doesn't prove that Bill Cosby raped her or sexually assaulted her. Excuse me. It's not even funny. Um, and unfortunately, within this case, I'm not going to go into any more detail about any of this. I mean, if you want to find more, there's other people on YouTube who have done a lot more research, a lot more detailed analysis about this, like Nicole's from Nicole's view. She's actually done a very good job. Shout out to that sister, as well as Tori and Rain, as well as Harvey from Your World. And Drew from the Drew True Show. He's actually done a very, very good video highlighting a lot of the things that NBC, ABC, Fox News, CNN are not going to cover. Because many of them have covered a lot of hearsay and lies, but not actual facts involving this whole entire case. So, so I'm not going to talk about that. But what I am going to talk about is I want to talk about what are the possible ramifications in our society because of something like this. Because watching this and just being a student of history, this reminds me of what happened to Jack Johnson back in the early 20th century. And as well, it reminds me, if you ever read the book To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Farrell, excuse me. I believe that's the name of the author, Harper Lee. Harper Lee has a story about a black man that was basically accused of raping a white woman, and it was a kangaroo style court during Jim Crow, where the DA, as well as the judge, and also the jury were all in cahoots together, and they didn't care about the evidence. They didn't care about what actually happened. They just got in their mind, we're going to convict this person. And that's pretty much what happened to Bill Cosby. That's pretty much what happened to him. Because as far as I can see, I don't see any concrete proof that he did any of these crimes, not just to him, but quite frankly, any of these women who have accused him. Any of these women. So But what I want to talk about is what could be the possible ramifications of something like this. Someone of Bill Cosby's stature being accused of a crime like this and being convicted, especially being railroaded by the judicial system. Um, there could be a number of things that could possibly happen. I mean, you might definitely see more black people, black men particularly, being falsely accused of crimes they didn't commit. Because if all it takes in Donald Trump's America, in 2018 America, which is very similar to 1918 America, for a white woman to sit up and to say that this Negro, they won't call you that, of course, but maybe they will call you that, but maybe not. But this man, he raped me, he set up and he sexually assaulted me, and they have no proof, no evidence, no witnesses, nothing to go by it, then they can ruin your whole entire life. It can destroy your reputation. It can destroy your livelihood. It can destroy, your legacy. Hell, it can basically, destroy your life. It can put you in jail for years behind something that nobody can prove, but just based off of hearsay. And don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I am not someone who is condones rape, condones sexual assault, condones behavior like that. And there are women out there who have legitimately had these things done to them. And of course, they need to go out there and receive justice. But what's happened is that we live in a society where the feelings of human beings has trumped facts and reality and numbers. Okay? No one wants to look at the facts anymore. It's a matter about how you feel and what you think about this particular person and how you feel about this particular situation. So I'm going to make you pay because somebody else made me feel, this particular way. And this is one of the negative things that I've been seeing, particularly when it comes to social media. A lot of the comments that I've been seeing on social media and talking to a lot of people in general in our society today. They don't care about the facts. They don't care about what's actually real. They don't care about any of the things. They've been so propagandized into having this mentality that if it goes against some sort of popular narrative or popular opinion, then I'm right, you're wrong, regardless of whether or not I have no credibility in terms of my knowledge of any of the facts. And I'm going to act upon that, and I'm going to ruin your life. I'm going to destroy your reputation, take away your livelihood, put you in jail, or even freaking kill your ass. That's where we are. That's where we are. So that's exactly where we are. Truth be told, I don't know whether Cosby, raped these women or not, to be honest with you. I don't. But I will say that based off of the evidence that I've seen, there's no proof that he did any of this. And that's the most disturbing thing about all of this. He was convicted in the court of public opinion, not in the court of of facts. Now, truth be told, Cosby will probably be able to appeal this. He should be able to. I don't know whether or not it'll actually be a slam dunk, but he has a very good case. I mean, especially if you listen to what his lawyer, Tom Mesereau, said, and then people who were actually there in the case, and they saw just so many of the blatant violations of this man's constitutional rights, so many blatant violations of court procedures, so many blatant, just a complete backwoods kangaroo court system that you saw in this Pennsylvania town, and everybody was working together. That DA worked to basically extend the statute of limitations so they can go after Bill Cosby. All these things are things that are on public record, and his appellant attorney should be able to bring this up within his appellant, trial. And he has a good case for an appeal, and he should be able to get it. But I'm concerned about those of us who don't have the resources that Bill Cosby has, who don't have the money that he has, who don't have well, he's not prestige anymore, but don't have the notoriety rather that Bill Cosby has. What about them? What about us? Because if that can happen to Bill Cosby, that very well could happen to me. That very well can happen to any black person, and specifically black man that's out there, in America, based on the fact that somebody said you did something, even if there's no proof whatsoever that you did anything. It's all based on somebody's word, all hearsay, and that's the most disturbing thing about this. So I, frankly think, and I'm one who doesn't just rant, provides solutions, not just commentary. I think us as black people, our biggest asset is within our unity, us working together, us figuring out ways to put people into positions that can help us with things to minimize things like this from happening. We don't have enough black DAs. That's one of the things that I tell a lot of young people that are out there who want to study law and who want to make a difference. I tell them, become a DA. Become a DA. Because the DAs are the ones who decide what you are charged with, and they're the ones who decide whether or not they throw out a case. And more times than none, and not just with Bill Cosby, but in general with us, we get the book thrown at us because we got these individuals who are sitting in the position of being the district attorney who don't have the best interest of the black community. And they disproportionately overcharge African Americans, especially African American men, time and time and time and time again. And they protect a lot of these cops that terrorize and brutalize people within our community. That's part of the reason why none of these cops are getting prosecuted. Even when you find them on tape, on camera, murdering people in cold blood. That's part of the reason why it doesn't happen, because we don't have enough black DAs. We need more black councilmen. We need more black judges. Okay, the same exact thing. If we had more black judges, this railroading that you saw with Bill Cosby probably wouldn't have happened. All right, and you have some folks who will sit up and say that I'm promoting racial loyalty, but that's the elephant within the room, particularly when it comes to this case, because racism played a big part in this. Let's not sit up and say that racism didn't have anything to do with this case, because it does have something to do with this case. It had a lot to do with this case, and particularly the way that Bill Cosby, the way this case was handled and treated. Racism specifically had a lot to do with this. Okay, because you have a list, a plethora, and I know it was a different state, different judge, but you have a plethora of white defendants who have been accused of doing far worse with much more evidence, and they were not given the time that Bill Cosby was given. Brock Turner is a perfect example. Okay, he still, I don't believe, is in jail. I may be wrong about that, but he still to this day is not in jail. Okay, he raped. He stood up and took a 14-year-old girl, stripped her naked, and forced her to perform oral sex on him while he was in college over at Stanford University. All right, and the judge said, "I don't want to ruin this young man's life." And that's part of the problem that we have within our judicial system. When it comes to us, there's never any sympathy. There's never any in terms of why somebody is. Lock him up and throw away. Even if he's 81 years old and he's blind, according to the judge, he's a sexual violent predator. So we need to put him away. This is a double standard that we see. All right, and my challenge to us within the community is that if we want these things to stop happening, this is bigger than Bill Cosby. If we want these things to stop happening, we need to start funding other black folks to be in positions that can minimize these things from happening. All right. We need more black folks within, who are creating the laws. We need more black folks who are DAs, and we need more judges. That's what we need. So, anyway, um, that's all I have to say about this matter. I'm not going to get long-winded, about it. I don't like to make these YouTube videos where I'm, talking for like an hour and a half, just running my mouth. I like to make my point and get out there. But go ahead and like the channel, subscribe to the page. I will talk to you soon. Stay strong. Recognize the times, that we are in. For those of you as black men, particularly, recognize the times that we are in. I'm not saying that every white woman is out there is going to sit up, or woman in general, is going to sit up and try to accuse you of some sexual crime just to get you for your money. But if you have, some assets, if you have some esteem, you have some assets, some notoriety, you are a target. And you have to understand that. So you have to be smart. And that was part of Bill Cosby's, mistake, was the fact that he was sleeping around with all these different women, all right, and and not thinking about, possibly what could happen years down the line, with some sort of allegation. I'm not saying that we should live like that, but you have to recognize the times, that we're in. And we have to move into a direction to get more people into positions that can provide us more protection in the legal system. That's all I have to say. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.